King Robert may be long dead, but there is multiple claims to the throne that are well and truly alive. The only problem is the throne can only hold one pair of arse cheeks. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Time to review Game of Thrones Season 2, Episode 3. This one is called What is Dead May Never Die. And we've got a lot of kings right now, or at least a lot of people claiming to be king, claiming to have the rightful ownership of the throne. Right now, it is Joffrey's to lose, but who is going to step up and take it from him?
Is it going to be Renly taking it in the rear? Is it going to be Stannis taking it, I don't know, from the Dragon Lady, the Fire Lady, whatever? Is it going to be, what's the other guy, Robb Stark, who seemed...
King of the North!
Aye, King of the North.
And then you've got Daenerys wanting to be the queen of somewhere very far away and irrelevant right now.
No,
it doesn't even feel like Daenerys is in the same universe.
No, it doesn't.
Just like fucking.
No, it's weird because you've got Robb Stark fighting the Lannisters, and then you've got the two Bavarian brothers. Bavarian, whatever they're doing, right? They're not even doing anything. Renly's like, you're boring, Stannis, and old, and he's like, you're gay, mate. That's pretty much the extent of their fucking beef going on over there. Robb Stark's fighting wars, winning wars. Aye, winning wars, and then when he injures people, he fucking greets about it. Come on, Robb, sort yourself out. And then Joffrey's just sitting there. But at least he can sit, unlike Renly. But let's get stuck into the episode and sit down and enjoy it.
Let's get stuck in. Look, we've got all these people arguing over who should be the rightful king or queen. But one thing that not many people argue over is the fact that Ned Stark was indeed an honourable man. Whether it's coming from Stannis or whether it's coming from Renly. They both seem to have nice things, positive things to say about Eddard Stark.
Yep, it's a shame that he's dead, but Ned could have put this all to bed, though. Ned could have put it to bed.
Well, Ned did believe that Stannis was the rightful true king.
Yep, but he should have put that shitstorm in motion.
So obviously, I don't know. Obviously, Renly doesn't really agree with that.
No, Renly does not agree with that. And again, it's like, could they not just put their differences aside? All the brothers and like Robb Stark and all, and even Daenerys. It's like anyone but Joffrey.
Well, Daenerys,
she's in a different
plot. But like, surely if Robb, Renly, and Stannis all joined forces, they could easily take down Joffrey.
Yeah, I think there should be a compromise.
I mean, they're talking about Renly having the numbers alone to take down Joffrey. So surely they teamed up with Robb Stark.
See, I think that's Stannis. The problem, though. I think Robb Stark, I mean, by the sound of his demeanour, I think he's willing to let one of them.
Well, he just wants to be the king of. He doesn't want to be the king of King's Landing.
He just wants to see the Lannisters pay.
Yeah.
So you know what?
And give Winterfell freedom for the North.
I think Robb, right, should just side with whatever side of brothers he thinks going to win, and then tell the other side, right, either you're with us or against us. But
well, you can say I don't. To me, it should be Stannis. He's the oldest. He's older than Renly. That's how it goes. That's how it works.
It should be Stannis.
Now, who cares if Renly's got a bigger army? At the end of the day, I mean, Stannis is next in line. Robert died.
But where has Renly plucked this army from, by the way? Because see, back in season 1, when he spoke to Ned, he's like, I've got about 10 guys at the gate, Ned, but that's about... No, he's plucked like 100,000 guys
It's his new wife.
Which makes sense.
It's his wife. What's her name? The one that he isn't interested in.
I can't remember. Yeah, but it makes sense that he's plucked 100,000 guys for his arse, though, doesn't it?
Rosemary, whatever her name is, or I forget her name, but it's her and her brother. They're the ones with the army. The Tyrells. They're the ones with the army. Renly's just inheriting that army.
But how's a jobber army, right? The Tyrells that we didn't even know existed until like 2 minutes ago, whipping out 100,000 people. And 100,000 people in this time's a lot. I mean, probably like a fifth of the population.
If you want to get your calculator out, right, and you can dispute their numbers, but we're going to go straight.
Well, why didn't Robb Stark just go over to the fucking Tyrells and be like, right, I'm going to marry you because this is not gay?
Well, maybe you should be asking Robb Stark that. But anyway, right, we'll get into the episode. We're at Craster's Keep. Jon Snow has been beaten up by Craster himself after he witnessed Craster giving away the babies to be fed by the White Walkers. Lord Commander Jorah Mormont is really unhappy with Jon Snow. Craster orders all the men of the Night's Watch to leave his home at once. Jon Snow reveals to Lord Commander that he had to do something, that they can't leave. They need to stop Craster. He is sacrificing his sons to the White Walkers. And then Jon Snow realizes, oh shit, the Lord Commander actually knows. And Lord Commander Mormont, he pretty much just sides with Craster here. He
essentially says that people like Craster are crucial in fending off the White Walkers, which I think's a bit selling it. Like, I get it, right? You need to keep those things at bay.
But he condones it at the end of the day. He condones Craster sacrificing his sons, feeding his sons to the White Walker. He says that it helps the Night's Watch, and he name drops Benji Stark, who we haven't seen in God knows how long. Jon then reveals he's seen something take the child, and Mormont predicts that whatever it was, Jon will probably see it again. Not very honourable here. Should Jon Snow have done something? I know that Ned Stark would not have allowed this. He would not have allowed Craster to be feeding kids to White Walkers.
Would he have killed Craster?
I think so. I think he'd have brought him to justice.
I like Ned Stark.
I think Ned Stark would have fed Craster to the White Walkers.
I think that's what he'd would have done.
But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Samwell Tarly gives Gilly a piece of jewellery that belonged to his mother. Who cares?
You see, this makes sense. So we kind of predicted this, that they must know about Craster doing this, because there must be a reason why they're not just killing this guy for being a cunt to them.
Yes, Bran Stark at Winterfell doesn't really do much. I don't care about Winterfell. There's no Starks in it apart from Bran and
it seems the Lannisters, right, snuck around Robb Stark and Renly's 100,000 butt boys. I mean, they'd have a field day at Winterfell, wouldn't they? Because there's no one there.
Hodor! In the Stormlands, Catelyn arrives and she speaks with the self-proclaimed King Renly Baratheon during a tournament. We got introduced to Brienne of Tarth, who is some big fucking butch woman that looks like a man. She defeats Ser Loras Tyrell, the man that King Renly is sleeping with, the sister of Margaery Tyrell. I think I called her Rosemary. That's pretty damn close, though.
It's pretty.
Margaery and Rosemary kind of sounds a wee bit similar.
Tyrell used to be a car manufacturer in Formula 1.
Well, I think he needs to change his tyres. Fucking change his preference. So yeah, Brienne of Tarth defeats Loras Tyrell, and
this is a freak show, by the way. We're talking about 6'7" here.
She claims a place in Renly's Kingsguard, so she's going to be a protector of Renly. Should probably protect his ass. Renly introduces Catelyn to his new wife, Margaery, and Renly shows off his 100,000 strong army. Catelyn warns Renly to take the war seriously. So basically, he has now inherited the Tyrell army. I guess him sleeping with Loras Tyrell wasn't enough to claim the army, but when he married Margaery, that pretty much confirmed that the army is now his. So he's got 100,000. That's quite a lot. A lot of people also seem to be hinting at Renly being gay. It doesn't really matter. Even Margaery knows. She's like, well, if you don't want to sleep with me, maybe you can pretend that I'm Loras, or we can bring him in here, but at the end of the day, you've got to put a baby in me and not my brother. So I mean, it's pretty much out there that Renly just,
it is weird though, like how 100,000 soldiers would just be like, see that gay guy that is pumping that guy, we're just going to follow him to the death now, just because it's weird how things work back in the day or in these times, even though I know these are like not real, but they are medieval times.
Yeah, on the Iron Islands, Theon Greyjoy is basically just handed one ship by his father, whereas his sister is given 30 ships, and all of a sudden Theon is going to betray the Starks, despite Ned Stark taking him in and raising him similar to like he would raise a son. You get the feeling that Theon has been raised at least as well as Jon Snow has. Probably he'd been raised better than Jon Snow, because Catelyn didn't have any animosity towards Theon.
Yeah.
So if anything, Theon Greyjoy has been almost raised a bit like a bastard Stark. Theon Snow.
Without the bastard. He's like been raised like a cousin or something. almost.
Yeah, and now his father and his sister want him to betray the Starks and take control of Winterfell. So Greyjoy, Theon gave the idea that they can team up with Robb Stark, but his father sees this as an opportunity to attack Robb Stark while he is on the road, and Winterfell is basically left, vulnerable. And I mean, that's an understatement.
Yeah, that is an understatement. I just don't really rate the Greyjoys. I mean, I think for them to sneak in the back door and take Winterfell while no one's there is a bit of a shite manoeuvre.
Against Bran.
Aye.
10-year-old Bran, but in King's Landing, she is complaining to Tyrion Lannister about obviously being kept away. She gets a job being some sort of handmaiden to Sansa, but Sansa comes across as a fucking bitch. I never liked Sansa. Just the way she was treating her here.
Yeah, and you think she wouldn't, considering the fact that Joffrey and
treats her so bad,
and everyone else does. So yeah, you know what, right? I've got no respect for Sansa. See when they're doing anything bad to her, it's almost like, well, you know what? You've put yourself in this position. I know it's a bit of Stockholm syndrome, but again, it's not even like she's treating these maids nice.
She wasn't. But in King's Landing, we got this really funny scene where Tyrion was testing the loyalty of the small council, and he was feeding them basically the same plan, but with a different outcome. He said he was planning on forming an alliance by marrying off Princess Myrcella Baratheon, and that is Cersei's daughter. However, he basically gave every member of the small council a different house that he would be marrying off Myrcella to, and this allowed him to know who was unfaithful and who wouldn't keep their promise, because he says the queen mustn't know. He told Pycelle, he told Baelish, and he told the other guy whose name is Fairies, that's the one, the guy we know nuts, and it turns out Pycelle is the informant and that he spilled the beans to Cersei, and he then stripped Pycelle of his role, and I think he threatened to send him to the wall as well.
Yeah, he did, and you know what? See this guy, ever since he did that scene where he wasn't acting very old and he was jumping around doing jumping jacks, he's been doing in my estimation, and now he's been doing pretty much everyone's estimation, because he's a rat.
But did you like this scene?
No, I did.
Where he fed them the same story but different outcomes?
It just shows you,
he's smart.
Yeah, he's the smartest guy in the show.
Yeah, so I thought it was...
And he's wasted as being Hand of the King, I think he should be on the battle. I think it made sense. Well, again, I say he's wasted. I think it's kind of perfect for him, but I think someone of his knowledge should almost be on the battlefield. But here, wars are won in different ways, I guess.
True. And then on the Riverlands, we get some Arya Stark and Yoren. They share, I guess, some nice little scenes.
I knew Yoren was gone when he was telling this story.
Yeah, Yoren tells a story about how he got revenge for his brother. Arya Stark is obviously looking for revenge as well. And then Ser Armory Lorsch turns up with a force of Lannister men, and instead of running, Yoren decides to face them head on, despite having essentially maybe 15, 20 army strong of boys and one girl who have never really been in a fight in their life. So I don't really understand the Yoren here, but he did take quite a few men down with him before getting killed.
I mean, fair play. He died on his sword.
You can tell that this guy, you can tell that he was Ned Stark was a fan. He's got that kind of honourableness about him.
Delusional honour.
Thinking that he could take down the entire fucking Lannister army here, but it didn't happen. He died. We then seen Arya rescue 3 prisoners that were in this fire wagon, and then one of the Lannister men picked up Gendry's helmet and he killed the kid next to it, believing that he was Gendry, because they're still looking for the bastard son of Robert Baratheon, but the helmet was picked up by some other kid, so therefore they haven't killed Gendry. Gendry is still alive, but the Lannister army believe they've taken care of Robert's bastard son, and the rest of these kids are captured and taken with the Lannister army, and that pretty much does it for us here. That's episode 3 wrapped up in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, it just feels like the first 2 episodes where we're just preparing for war. We're getting closer to the war, but not much is really happening. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. That's what I'll give it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a 6 out of 10 is probably fair. I don't think season 2 is as good as season 1. That's my opinion.
And I just feel like with the pacing so far, you're focusing on so many different groups. It's like you could feel like you could get to like episode 9 of this season with not much really happening because you're jumping back and forth. But anyway, R.I.P. Yoren. I thought he'd have lasted a bit longer.
Yeah, it's sad to see Yoren go. I think he's been one of the better characters this season, but unfortunately, it was his time to go. Like Cersei says, when you play the Game of Thrones, either you win or you die. And unfortunately for Yoren, he died. We'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm also giving it a 6 out of 10. That's it, 6 out of 10. Till next time, peace.